and then someone offers you for the same job which you're qualified for, I will give you 1 lakh if you come to America. Then you'll drop this job and go to America. There's a higher taste of more income. It's a natural, obvious, logical conclusion. So now, for us to give up the ananga and lust, we must have some greater input. Because now a man, the most powerful representation of ananga or kamdev for his ears is not the sound of music, is not the sound of flute, is not the sound of his boss promising to give him a promotion or promising to give him a perk or increase in pay. Those are also sweet words. I like your performance, your wages just increased by 5,000 a month. That's nice, but it can't match the sweet words of his wife or his beloved. When she speaks in the ear and comforts him at the end of a hard day, it's all right, it's okay. And some sweet words, and then he feels relieved. So that's the Stri Vacha, or the Admi Vacha. When the man speaks to the wife, a very convincing, determined, powerful, assurance of his words, and the encouragement and support of his words, strengthening words, then the wife feels somewhat, yes, I can carry on another day with these 4 children or 5 children and all these difficulties in running the home and family. This way, sound vibration has a powerful effect in controlling our lives and moving us and making us crazy sometimes. So just see, when we turn to God, we need sound vibration to sustain ourselves. We need sound vibration to enthuse ourselves. And we need sound vibration to comfort and relieve ourselves. Krishna gives it all. In his name, Ram Nam, Krishna Nam, or his fame, his yash, his fame, his name, his kirti, his lila, his qualities. Very, very powerful sound. And when one wraps himself around with that sound, oftentimes they describe stereo systems, quadraphonic or theater sound, wraparound sound, home theater. They have these arrangements for elaborate sound systems. So if we wrap ourselves around with Krishna Nam, Krishna's name and fame and qualities, always hearing Shabda, then we become soothed and relaxed and comforted and inspired, and we get energy to serve God and run to God, and we find satisfaction. People often ask the Atmaram Munis or the Niskinchan Sadhus, oh, you're a Kela, you live here alone, don't you feel bored? No television, no internet, no family, no, you don't even have a dog to talk to, no dog to befriend. No, we have God. We communicate. We hear the vibration of Krishna's Gita and Bhagavatam, and we hear the vibration of his holy name, and that does everything. Madaram, Madaram, Gitam. Everything is so sweet. So one by one, this is what sadhana bhakti is all about, which I was mentioning yesterday. The bhakta or bhakt, he inundates and saturates his senses, his 5 senses, with the flower arrows of Krishna's mercy, with the flower arrows of Krishna's love and inspiration in the form of Krishna's sounds, Krishna's form, Krishna's taste, Krishna's smell, and Krishna's touch. Because he said, we have these demands. If we have a material body, all these demands are there. We want to touch something or someone, hear something or hear someone's voice, and smell something or someone's body, and taste something or taste someone's lips or whatever. The taste of love. It's natural impulses of the conditioned soul. So Krishna is so merciful that he makes himself available on the plane which we exist on. We exist in the indriya, the plane of the senses and body. So he reaches down to us at the lowest level. We're not on the level of mind, manomaya, and meditation and sense control. We're struggling with our senses. Prakriti stani karshati. We're struggling very much with our senses, controlling our tongue and genital and everything, our speech. So then Krishna extends himself with all that power, vardhanam. And the more we associate with Krishna's sound, his form, his taste, his touch, the more Vardhan means increasing, fortifying, strengthening. The more our devotion, the more our attachment to God increases by leaps and bounds. And then we think, oh, I have no interest in material sounds. I have no interest in Gramya Katha and all the ordinary topics of the material world. People talk about families and governments and politics and sports and movies and fashion. A general discussion. I want to hear about God. So this one line describes the power of God's vibration. The Shamyam Gitam, Gita means sound, vibration, singing, song, voice, words, instructions. In this case, the Gitam was the flute, the Murali. And such a sweet message it was carrying. The flute was speaking, as we told the other day. Jiva Goswami is telling. The flute was speaking to Radharani. It was a message. There was words and voice in the flute, because Krishna's flute is transcendental. Oh Radharani, the flute was entering Radharani's ears and saying, oh Radharani. Krishna's flute was saying, I love you so much. Whenever I remember you, I feel the greatest bliss. Then Krishna played his flute, and he called the gopis and entered their ears and became words. He said, oh my darling, oh my darlings, oh my gopikas, please come and relish the nectar of my association. I very much miss you. So this is, Krishna speaks to us, literally, and that speech of God moves us and satisfies us, impels us, and relaxes us. Nishamyam, Nishamya Gitam. Nishamya. Because why is the word Nishamya there? It means something. It's a qualifier for the word Geet. Nishamya Geet. We can have Pranaya Geet, Pranaya Prem Geet. So many we can have modifiers. So one by one, so someone says, all right, you're describing how the power of Aprakrita Madan, the spiritual power of Krishna, his Shabda Brahman, his sound vibration, what effect and what change and what new form and appearance and manifestation happens within me when I contact Krishna's sound. But what about my other senses? My other senses are demanding. Not only do I want to hear beautiful sounds, but I want to touch beautiful people, men or women. And I want to see them and satisfy my eyes with beautiful forms and colors and designs and movements. Oh, we have something for everyone. Krishna has something for every sense. Oh, you want to see beautiful forms? Then come to the mandir. And there's so many temples all over India where you see very beautiful, especially in Vrindavan, beautiful, most beautifully adorned and decorated forms of Krishna and Radha. Very attractive, beautiful flowers and ornaments and clothing and vesh. And the whole atmosphere becomes a feast for the eyes. Even the grossest, materialistic, most lusty man, if he has the piety to enter Vrindavan and see Radha-Raman or Radha-Banki Bihari, he'll say, at least for those moments, oh, the Lord looks so beautiful. Banki Bihari looks so beautiful in a yellow outfit with his beautiful blackish complexion. Or he looks so beautiful in pink. Or now I go to see Radha Shyam Sundar. Oh, the flowers, the whole atmosphere is so beautiful. Then the next day he goes to Delhi and calls up his girlfriend. Hello, you're also very beautiful. I want to meet you. But nevertheless, in Vrindavan, when he saw the form of Krishna, the Murti Darshan, Sri Vigraha Darshan, he said from his own mouth, oh, Radharani looks so cute, so beautiful. She looks like a British girl with her white cheeks and her little red kumkum. Or whatever. But they say, they glorify. Oh, yes, even the grossest, lustiest man or woman can admit Krishna and Balaram look so dashing, look so debonair, so powerful. I have my husband and so many romantic relationships, but I can appreciate the beauty, and that's exactly why Krishna appears in the Archamurti, to capture our eyes, to satisfy our eyes to see beautiful rupam. With our eyes we want to see color, and design and movement and form. Rupam in its various expressions. Eye is rupam, ear is shabda, nose is gandha, and rasam and sparsha. So eyes, if a lady just standing like this with some beautiful clothes, so it's colors and form, but if she starts dancing those beautiful clothes, then that's movement, creates more intoxication and attraction for the eyes. So ultimately, when one comes and sees the murtis of Krishna, he'll see their movement. That's Lila, Lila Darshan. From murti, he'll see Lila. So in this way, Krishna, he can come in your house, and every day you can dress him, and do Shringar Seva, Archan, and then he appears so beautifully. And we don't understand what it is. That Krishna appears on one level to be made of marble, or daru, wood, or ashtadhatu or brass, like a doll, like a figure. But as we dress the deities or we see the deities, people often say, "Oh, Radha Shyam and Vrindavana, they look like people. I feel like Krishna is looking at me. My mind is telling me that he's a murti." The mundane, the ordinary pious person who takes darshan. This is a marble murti representing God. But my heart is telling me, looks like a very handsome, beautiful man. And they take darshan of Radharani, they say, she's a very beautiful lady, very beautiful woman. Oh, wait a minute, she's only a murti. So is she only a murti or is she real? She obviously, to the eye of devotion, she's very real. Isham yagitam tarananga vardhanam. Discussing Krishna's sound, his sight, so soothing, satisfying, purifying, and attractive for the eyes of the lusty, sore, conditioned soul. Sore eyes of lust, burning eyes of lust. It's an interesting phenomenon. If one is ever being attacked by fires of lust, their eyes become very red. The white part of the eye becomes red for various reasons, but that's one of them. Intoxication from alcohol and also intoxication from greed, anger, and lust make the eyes red. And lack of sleep also for students and sadhakas that don't sleep. Babies never have red eyes. Did you ever notice? Anybody ever been a mother? Babies do not have, they have brown eyes, blue, green, whatever, and then white is white. Only when you grow up do your eyes turn red. Because then you learn about all the good things of this world. When you grow up, you learn about lust and anger and greed. That person, I can't stand that person. Everyone gets muchakunda eyes. But they don't have any mystic powers, so they can't burn all the people. If everybody had the power to burn everyone they didn't like, there wouldn't be anybody on the planet. You would burn all the people you don't like, and all the people who don't like you would burn you. That would be it. It'd be what they call a total burnout, which is an American slang, actually. Krishna's sight is satisfying, soothing, and ecstatic. So Krishna makes his form visible. He's not ananga. God, can you show me God? People often meet a saint or a sadhaka or a practitioner of sadhana. Can you show me your Ishta Ram? Like Hanuman, he ripped open his chest and showed Ramchandra and Sita. He said, yes, I can do that also, but my wife wouldn't appreciate it if I rip open my chest and finish myself. Yes, I can show you God. Acha, yes. Come with me. And you go to the mandir and say, here's God. Because that's what someone did with me in 1974 in Los Angeles. And someone said, one of my friends, he said, you want to see God? I said, sure. How much does it cost? Do you have to pay? No, it's free. Acha. Where is he now? Is he starring somewhere? Is he appearing somewhere, giving some show or something? The God show? He said, no, he's in the LA ISKCON temple, Rukmini Dwarkadish. So we got on a bus, went down Venice Boulevard for about an hour, And then we got out and we went in and he said, they came in and he said, "There's God." I said, "Wow, beautiful." I rather enjoyed my first darshan of God. It was love at first sight, or at least interest and attraction. Something extraordinary. Someone extraordinary. So that's Krishna's prabhav for our eyes. Cupid is shooting arrows at our eyes to entice us and enchant us and tantalize us with various shapely forms of men and women. And Krishna is shooting his arrows of rupam at us in the form of shapely deities. Tribhanga Sham, Tribhanga Radha. Very attractive and shapely and moving and dashing and colorful and happy and smiling. And then, okay, I can contact God by hearing Shabda Brahman and purify my ears and fill my ears full of love for God. Fill my ears full of desires to love and serve God. Because the material Kamadev, when he shoots his arrows of Shabda, that Kamdev, that Ananga, that Kandarpa, when he shoots the arrows of Shabda in our ears, then we become lusty to hear material sounds. We become induced and driven to hear the sweet voice of a woman or the sweet news of the material world, which we may find so sweet. But that changes by the influence of Krishna, Shabda Brahman. Then sight. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I used to go to movies." We've met thousands and thousands of people over the last so many years that have taken up Krishna consciousness. And they said, "Swamiji, I don't like to go to movies anymore and see all the stars and all the Nayaks and Nayakas. I feel more happy and satisfied to go to the mandir and just see Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna have become my superheroes. They've become my stars. And I can't wait. I used to go to the movies every weekend, or once a month at least. Now instead of going to the movies, I go to the mandir. And every time I go to the mandir, I see a new dress. And Krishna looks differently. Sometimes he smiles at me, he seems happy. And sometimes he frowns at me, he seems a little upset. And sometimes he's smiling at me, seems like he's laughing or sharing a joke with me. I don't know how to explain it, but it seems that the Murti of Radha and Krishna, they're interacting with me and their rupam and their form, divya rupam, in a very personal, interesting way. This is the experience of a regular person, not a Niskinchan sadhu or a Mahabhagavat, a married man or woman. Hundreds I've met, if not thousands. What to speak of ourselves? And then, what about taste? Because, as you know, I'm an Indian, and we have so many kinds of food. And now we have so many of our own cuisines. And we have Gujarati cuisine, and Bengali, and South Indian, and Punjabi, and UP, and Haryana, and this and that. Many, many types of food and restaurants. Now we have all these other we have so many other varieties of food to choose from, without naming them all. And French and Italian. Has anyone heard of pizza pie? Some people have heard of that in India, pizza pie? No. Yes. And it's quite, I think it's taken over the Indian palate. Pizza pie has conquered the Indian tongue. Ajit, jiva jit. Jiva jit pizza. So many foodstuffs now, and this is all wonderful offerings of Kamdev, of the Ananga Vardhan. When we eat, he increases our lust to taste. How many people have only eaten one piece of pizza in their life? Raise their hand. Hardly anybody, except a Russian or two. But Italians, forget that. But Indians, Indians will raise their hands so many times. So that means Ananga Vardhanam, Nishamyam Gitam. Now it's not Nishamyam Gitam, it's not Shabdam, but it's Rasam, the tongue, not the ears, getting stimulated, satisfied, enhanced, fortified, increased by exposure to the objects of taste. Lokik Rasam, food, ice cream, sweets. There's thousands and thousands of sweet shops in India. Once I was trying to calculate, when I was staying in Delhi for some time, because I'm a little like this sometimes, I was trying to find out how many sweet shops there were in Delhi. I was asking my friends. And they were saying 50,000 or 100,000, I don't know, whatever there are. Say 2,000 sweet shops. And then I said, so how many kilos per sweet shop? And they said 500 or whatever. So multiplying that times sugar or chini, then you get tons and tons. Every day in one city of India, there's like 25 tons of chini or sugar being consumed by the people. I mean, it's enormous. I was trying to get some idea. Not that Americans don't eat that much sugar in the form of ice cream and apple pie. It's not to pick on one country. But in other words, sweets are popular everywhere, as you well know. And that means Ananga Vardhanam. Ananga means our lust. Ananga, or kam, means lust. It means craving. It means intense craving. I have to have it. I need it. If I don't stop in so-and-so shop and get some rasgullas, I think I'm going to die right now. There are Indian people like that. There are Russian people like that. There are American, everyone. Daddy, stop the car. The children say, why? I need ice cream. My dear Beta, there's no ice cream store for 25 miles. 50 kilometers away is the nearest ice cream store. Okay. 50 miles to the ice cream store. Here, Beta, take ice cream, lay low. Rasgulla, lay low. Gulab Jamun, lay low. Rabri, lay low. Rasmalai, lay low. Sweets. Mitai. So much crazy. That's one effect of Ananga Kamade, the god of lust. Lust doesn't just mean man and woman. That's the epitome of the whole thing. Man and woman. All the taste, all the form, all the smell, all the touch. Ananga Vardhanam. Vardhan. We know Govardhan. We don't know Ananga Vardhanam. And our Govardhan, our Giriraj Govardhan. Giriraj. Giri Govardhan Le Sharan. Radha-Krishna Ke De Charan. So our only shelter is Govardhan. He's called Govardhan because he increases the joy of the senses. In Sanskrit, the word go means indriya. Indriya, senses. So when one worships Govardhan, he does Govardhan Prikrama, he does puja to Govardhan, he does seva to Govardhan, jaro seva or cleaning, or any type of seva or contact with Govardhan, then ever increasing and expanding feelings of satisfaction, joy, fulfillment, and completion within himself or herself, that human being feels, because Govardhan is Sakshat Krishna. Varsana is called Brahma Parvat. Nandagaon, Nandishwar, is called Shiv Parvat. And Govardhan is called Vishnu Parvat. In the general Puranic understanding of Govardhan, Varsana, and Nandagram. But for the Vaishnav, for the worshipper of Radha and Krishna, Govardhan is Nathri, Sri Giridhari Nathri, Krishna. This Lila, Giridhari, holding up Govardhan Hill for 7 days. He's Sakshat Brajendra Nandan Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So Krishna, as I said, when you contact Krishna, the sound or the sight, you become satisfied and pleased and happy. So when you contact the sight of Govardhan in Vrindavan, Govardhan, da 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 da. They have so many songs about Govardhan. Giri Govardhan. Giriraj Tejisharan, Giridhari Tejisharan. Take shelter there, my shelter, your shelter. Anangavardhanam. So Kamadev, the material god of lust, is increasing and expanding our lust by sound and by form. So we're explaining how Krishna can remove that lust and turn the lust into love by his sound, and turn our lust for forms into love of God and intense desires, ever-expanding desires. Anangavardhanam. Ananga means love or lust, material love or lust. But now that Ananga becomes the aprakrita Ananga, the spiritual Ananga. Because Krishna's action or actions within our mind or heart seem bodiless. It seems formless. We don't see Krishna standing before us. We don't see him playing his Murli and hearing his Murli. We read Bhagavad Gita, which is Krishna sitting before us or standing. And we read Dasamaskanda, which is Krishna's Lila Sarup and Prem Sarup. And we chant Krishna's name, Bhajan, Kirtan, Nam Jap. And we experience Krishna's presence. It's Ananga. It seems bodiless and formless, but we experience it. Just like Ananga. Has anyone ever seen the form of Cupid? Has anyone ever seen the personality known as the god of lust, Kamdev or Ananga? No. Has anyone ever felt the effect? The bodiless one, the formless one? Everyone in the world has felt the effect, or they're feeling the effect right now, of Kamadev, lust. So the sound and the sight. Well, what about touch? Kamadev, Sparsha, he pushes a man to touch the soft, tender body of a woman, and pushes a woman to touch the powerful, strong, muscular body of a man. It's a very big demand, the sense of touch. People die for it, crave for it. We see in Veda, they describe different animals that lose their lives because of their uncontrolled senses. This is in 11th canto of Bhagavatam and other places. It's described that the patang, the butterfly, the moth, he can't control his eyes. He can't control rupam. He can't control rupam. So when that moth or butterfly, he sees a flame of a fire or even a light, a sulfur light or whatever, mercury light, he becomes so lusty, anangavardhanam, his lust, his greed, his attachment, his intense craving to relish that form, that rupam. What form? The form of light, jyoti rupam. The dazzling, dancing flames of the fire seem so inviting and so enthusing and alluring and seductive. He's being seduced by the flames of that fire. Wow, hey baby, I want to fly with you. So he flies straight into the fire because of his uncontrolled eyes, which means of his inability to control his intense desires to enjoy rupam of this material world. And flying into the fire, khatam ho gaya. He's seared and burned to a crisp. He becomes a patang pakora. He becomes fried and roasted, but there's no batter. It's a dry pakora. Finished, annihilated because he's not controlling rupam. And he hasn't feasted his eyes on the Nayanotsav of Krishna's Sarupam, or Murti Rupam. Unfortunate living entity. Foolish, unintelligent, a simple insect, kita. But are we less? The crown of creation, human beings. We see one form, we go crazy. Just by rupam. That's how a man first goes crazy. Not by the touch of the woman that he falls in love with, because he hasn't touched her yet. Not by the sound of her voice, he hasn't spoken to her yet. Not by the taste of her lips, he hasn't kissed her yet. Not by the smell of her body or form, because he hasn't got close yet. The ganda. But by the rupam. The rupam. Oh, it was, you ever hear this expression? How did you get married, Mr. So-and-so and Mrs. So? It was love at first sight, which means it was lust at first sight. It was calm. I saw her, and I saw that woman in college, and I thought, wow, I must have her. I'm craving for her. I need her. I want her. No matter what it takes, I'm going to woo her and seduce her and attract her and convince her and make her mine. Ha, ha, ha. Then you try your best and you pray to Ganesh and pray to Shiva and everybody you can, even your grandfather. And then you give gifts and all kinds of nonsense. And try to be nice and get close. Call on the phone, speak really sweetly. Hello, how was your day at the office? Oh, it's fine. How was yours? Oh, yeah. Are you busy? No, I'm not busy. Maybe we could meet in the park. Oh, yeah, I go there every evening. I take a walk. Oh, that's nice. And like this. But first, Rupam. As the patang or moth, he dies because of his uncontrolled eyes. We die because of our uncontrolled eyes. And we have so much brain, so much cerebrum, cerebellum, 50 billion, 5,000 trillion brain cells. And we become as foolish and stupid as a patang, a mudha, just because of uncontrolled eyes. And all of that can be stopped and controlled by seeing the beautiful form of Krishna and Radha and the Murti Rupam. Such beauty, such penetration, such prabhav, such satisfaction. If we open the doors of our heart to God, then we can open our eyes to receive His beauty. If we open the doors of our heart to hear God, then we can hear His murali and His transcendental sound. But we have to open our heart, Sharanagati. If our heart is closed, then we can never see the beauty of Krishna. If our heart is closed, we can never hear the beautiful vibration of Hari Katha, or Bhagavad Gita Pat, or Bhagavat Pat, or Nam Kirtan, Nam Jap. Impossible. It begins with softening of the heart. Shraddha, Vishwas, Sharanagati. Krishna. Now another example, the five senses and the animal kingdom. That's sight. Sight means rupam, form, finished. Now what about gandha, sorab, smell, fragrance? There is one living entity called makar, honeybee, bumblebee. His nature is that he has a very powerful nose. He loves to smell sweet flowers. Lotus, juhi, mogra, gulab, kadam. All very sweet flowers. Gardenia, Ratki Rani, not Ratki, he's sleeping. Deen Koraj. All these beautiful flowers he likes to smell. So then he goes inside the lotus. And of course he drinks the nectar. And sometimes he takes some back to the queen bee if he's a little generous. Takes some back to the queen bee and distributes to the other folks back at the beehive. Or he drinks the nectar, he becomes intoxicated. And then the main sense that he's driven by and compelled by is not drinking, not rasam, but gandha. And he just sits on that lotus flower at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. And he's not aware of the nature. He's not aware of his surroundings. He's blind to his surroundings. He's blind to the setting of the sun. He doesn't even perceive that the very lotus flower that he's sitting in the middle of is gradually closing around him and engulfing him and surrounding him and about to smother him inside her petals. That unfortunate victim of his uncontrolled smell, nose. He goes on smelling, and then with the sunset, the lotus flower closes. And the bee is inside, the bumblebee, honeybee, madhukar. And after some hours, he dies. Fortunate bumblebee who lost his little life trapped in the lotus flower. Mad. Gandha ananga vardhanam. His ananga, his lust, his intense craving for smell and fragrance